from the J.C. Newman Cigar Studio in Boston, Massachusetts, and the Gurkha Cigar Studio in beautiful British Columbia. Welcome to the Smokin Tabacco Show with your hosts, Matt Tobacco and Mitchell Santaga.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Smokin Tabacco Show. My name is Matt Tobacco from SmokinTabacco.com, and I am in the J.C. Newman Cigar Studios, and I'm joined once again by my very good friend, Mr. Mitchell Santaga, in beautiful British Columbia, in the Gurkha Cigar Studios. And we have an old friend and special lover, according to everybody else.
It's real awkward. I need some distance.
I know.
I know we're in Massachusetts and that stuff flies here, but no, it's nice to be back. I was just thinking of the intro there. We got to redo some intros, and
Yeah.
I love the theme song so much.
You picked it.
I don't. Yeah, I know. But I need to have better like hold waiting music. Like it needs to be like elevator music, and then it needs to go into like blaring rock and roll. Is what I think. I'm open to other people's comments on it, but it's just too much of the same thing. You know what I mean?
It up.
Yeah, I want to.
Yeah.
I want to like soft. I want people to get relaxing, and maybe we do like a build up to it, so it gets a little heavier.
Okay.
And then it's like bam, right in their face. And I'm better at this stuff than I was when I made the intro. The people didn't know that I made the intro.
You've come a long way.
Yeah, the spare notes one I'm really proud of. That one's going to be a little more challenging for me to adjust because I do like the style of that one. But I'm better at this stuff now than I was before. So we can really do some fun things with it. So stay tuned before the end of the year. I'll have new intros, and they'll be interchangeable when people are on and when they're not on. I'll drop me as featuring just because I'm not on here as often.
I mean,
I'm the guest tonight, technically, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
You're a solid
Guest
guest
of
now.
honor.
I mean,
Guest of honor.
Since I've been accused of this before, I'll wait till people ask me questions to speak then.
oh, I don't accuse you
You know
of
what I'm
that.
saying? Just other shows.
I know. There's been some other programs where you've.
I was on a show one time. It was Cigar Authority, and I think the purpose when you bring a guest on is to have them be the one speaking, right? Like
Yeah.
you want people want to hear what they have to say.
Yeah.
So we received a complaint after the show is that I was talking as a know-it-all is what it said, and they were asking me questions and I was answering them. You know what I mean? So it's like you were asking me a question about something in the industry that I'm an executive in. Like I probably have a reasonable answer on it. And then he said I talk too much, and I was like, I thought that was the purpose of being the freaking guest. So apparently I was wrong.
You know, sometimes you get a guest on the show, and they aren't as chatty as you'd like them to be. And as an interviewer, you have a responsibility to keep a show going and keep the guests engaged, and that's always part of the goal. But some shows, like when John is on, it's a little bit easier because they kind of keep themselves talking and whatever, and that's totally fine. And in fact, that's the best way because everyone's so vibrant. But then sometimes you have some guests come on, and they're just very quiet. And you just have to be okay, and you have to kind of keep them going. And I remember there was a few times where there was a couple of guests who were not as chatty, and I was keeping the show going. And someone said, "Oh, let the guest talk more next time." And I was like, "Well, I'm trying to." But when you ask, "Hey, like, so tell me about like the blend on this and how long it's a good blend. We worked on it for 3 years."
And I can tell you,
And
from experience, because we're both professional talkers. We both like to talk.
yeah,
If somebody doesn't fill the time, like I'm going to fill it because nothing's more awkward to me than nothing being spoken about. Or
better
like
than dead air.
Yeah, or a question ending and it's just like waiting for more to be said and then nothing gets said. That may be a weakness of mine as well. But if there's a time for something to be spoken, I'm going to speak in it, right?
Well, yeah, especially you. I mean, if there is silence, John Carney will fill it. It could be anywhere. It could be at the deli. John will be like, "Hey, how's it going? You know, that roast beef's really good. I got it last week." Like he'll keep the conversation going. It doesn't matter.
Well, it's kind of like dead air in shops. So I tell this it's shocking. A lot of stores I go to don't have music playing, and I'm not saying they have to have crazy music. Sometimes they pick the wrong music.
Something.
But you have to have something. And when it's talk radio, a talk show, a podcast, there has to be some sort of noise happening because quiet's not a solution. The same thing as I said in cigar shops. If you ever sit in a cigar shop and there's no music playing or there's no sound going on other than just normal sound, it's usually quieter. There's nobody speaking because they're uncomfortable saying stuff out loud. So that you have music going on in the background or you have something going on. One's more entertaining for the listener and it's more entertaining for people that are enjoying it instead in the cigar atmosphere. That's one of my biggest gripes in the cigar shops is no background noise.
Yeah.
Cigar shop grapes, that's always a good topic.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's we could do a whole show on that. We could do a whole month on that.
But is it so? Here's this. Is it worse when they have no music, or is it worse when they play the music so loud and it's so bad that like you can't even hear the person who's like sitting next to the chair next to
Option
you?
2, because at least if there's no music, you can converse with somebody.
You can, but I think people converse less because there's no sound going on. So there's an in between. You got to be in the middle,
Yeah.
right? There's got to be moderation.
Yeah.
So you got to have the right music at the right volume that allows for natural relaxation and conversation, but fills gaps. But I would prefer. Is it worse? The other, I don't. They're equally as bad to me. So unless it's in the middle,
They're
it's
both
equally
horrible.
as bad. Yeah. Like they are both equally as bad. Like
There's no compromise.
shitty loud music sucks. The wrong music, the wrong theme, and then quiet. Quiet's brutal, man. It's like having a conversation. It's like making small talk at that point. So you start having a conversation as a natural lull. You start making small talk, and then there's a pause, and then there's nothing going on. There's just silence, and you're just sitting there in a room with someone silent. If you just sit, let's all sit here silent for like 10
looking
seconds.
deep into each other's
Let's
eyes.
see how awkward it gets for like 10 seconds if it's just sitting here, right? So, yeah, I'd pick. They're both equally as bad.
Oh, I thought we were going silent.
Well, my daughter just said hi. So.
I was gonna say, so your daughter says hi.
Yeah, she probably also said no, daddy. After her favorite thing is no, daddy. Mitchell, how old is your kid? You got 2 or 1?
I got one daughter, and she's a little past 3 years old.
Oh yeah, my daughter turns 2 in about 2.5 weeks.
Mine's 5
And
weeks.
her favorite, 5 weeks. I just held Anastasia Day first time. It was really cool. Got the baby fever again. So if my wife is watching, I'm no hurry, still babe, but it was nice. Nice to have a little baby
It was
around.
nice
She was
refresh?
nice. Yeah, she was cute. She was making little noises.
Do you want to change her after the show and
Oh God, no.
feed her and all that too?
No. No, but it was cool to have that again. But we were talking, so I'm gonna make some shirts for the PCA show this year for the crew.
Oh yes.
The Smokin Tabacco crew,
Mm-hmm.
and we're gonna be called the Cigar Dads.
That's right. That's going to be us. And tonight is the Girl Dad Show, since all of us here are girl dads. And I think all of us all have one child, one girl, and they're all relatively in the same age. So we all have...
Yeah.
We're
We're all experiencing the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was funny, man, because I walked in and they're not swaddling right now because he was saying, oh, the baby likes to lay like this, and I was like, bro, she's 5
Still
weeks
gotta
old. She
swaddle.
doesn't even know what she likes. Like she can't have an opinion on that stuff yet. But he goes, well, it's fine. I go, yeah, it'll be fine. I go, just give it like another month. I go, then it won't be fine, and you're gonna want her in the swaddle. Trust me.
Yeah. We use the sleep sacks, too.
You do use that. That's a good thing because
We do use
you just don't
those.
want
We
the
use
arms
those.
flailing around. You know.
Yeah.
We use the sleep stacks.
Yeah.
I mean,
Those are
I like
great.
the sleep sack better than doing the wrap. You could just
Oh,
put her in it, zip it up, done.
We
and
called
she's just...
in my household we called I was called Darth Swaddle. So my wife would
Yikes.
swaddle, and if it didn't work, she'd call in Darth Swaddle, and I'd walk in with the Emperor's March, and I would swaddle the piss out of that little baby, and we double swaddled.
Oh, double.
So we took
Oh.
a cloth swaddle, and then we had like a nylon stretchy one. It was American flag, of course.
Yeah, of course.
And then I just wrapped that sucker around. So the double swaddle, Darth Swaddle. It was a sad day when Darth Swaddle retired.
Well, you know, one of the things Nicole always says when she swaddles, she calls her little burrito.
Yeah, a little
it's-
burrito. Yeah.
It's
Oh, yeah,
nice.
burrito babies.
The little burrito baby. That's
Mhm.
right. Kevin Shahan's here tonight. Cigar Prop. Shout out. Thanks for being here with us. Jessica just came home with 2 Andalusian bulls today. They came into Corona, Sarasota, and she grabbed 2 right away. Had to pay full price though. No employee discount.
See these media guys.
I
They
was-
don't see. People think all you guys are getting free cigars. Like Kevin's paying for shit.
Kevin, you know, I really appreciate Kevin being here tonight, and I really appreciate him putting that comment up because, you know, it's true. And people think the media guys just get everything, and it's not true. And there's been times, and John can back me up on this, there has been multiple occasions where I've gone into a retailer, and I've purchased boxes of Andalusian bowls, and I've given them to him.
And I smoked them. Yeah, we did a show in
Yeah.
the carriage house back in the day, and we were smoking Andalusian bowls, and I was smoking it from the box that you had bought that day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause
Full price.
You had none, and I'm like, well, I have some. So what am I going to do? Not share with John Carney, Vice President of Sales, La Flor Dominicana.
Mm-hmm.
Of course,
Representing.
represent. And then sorry, I'm gonna go back to this really quick. Les Mann is here with us. Is John the first? Is John the first and only in-studio guest star? So we actually, it's funny you bring this up, Les, because we actually talked about this last week on the show. And that was, yes, he is the only one so far. However, and this kind of rolls right into Kevin's next comment too, where he said, or when soccer is on, going back to the other conversation, all you have to say is, how are you doing tonight, Steve? And then you just sit back for a few hours, which is so true.
Literally a few hours. He's the only one that can outdo the length of Coop's show. I think in the entire cigar, we all love Cooper,
Dude.
like love him to death. He's like personally, I have a good personal friendship with him as you do too.
Yes.
But man, his show's freaking long as fuck. Okay, and Saka could go like
I do a show with him, I know.
he could go. Saka could do 2 Coop shows back to back, no questions asked. I don't know how he does it.
Steve could do 6 hours straight, no piss break, nothing. Just give him the bourbon and his cigars, and he'll sit there and be like, well, where do I start tonight? I don't know. How do I do these fucking shows? And then he'll just fucking get into it, and then he'll just go, and you could just sit there and read a magazine.
He's also a little older, too. He doesn't have young kids anymore. They're getting married. They're married off or whatnot. You know,
he's got lots to complain about.
Yeah.
He's so many gripes.
But but you know, he's got more free time. He's been married longer, so his wife probably doesn't want to be around him as much. Like right now, my marriage is still young. It's only like 2.5, 3 years old. My wife wants to be with me all the time. You know what I mean? In 20 years, she's not gonna want to be around me all the time. You know what I mean? So Steve's got all this extra time for a number of different reasons, and he's got a lot of things to complain about. So, but no, it is good. It's amazing to me. To listeners, how many people listen to all the podcasts and stuff, man.
I know.
It's tough. Like I try to keep up as much as I can, and it's tough. And there's people that like religiously watch it, and I say thank you to guys that do. And
like Mitchell's on
I'm one
every
of
show.
them.
But it
I am
is
one of them.
entertaining. You know, it's entertaining though. And it is great stuff, and you learn a lot about the people, get to grow relationships with them, and it's a really special thing that we have that in this business. And you know, then you get to actually see them. You know, you go to an event and see Steve. You can go to an event, see me. You can go somewhere, see Lito, see a Tony, see the people that you're actually interacting with. And I think that's the reason people listen as much as they do and watch as much as they do, is because they actually can then have a personal connection with that person.
I absolutely agree. And we appreciate everyone who, you know, watches and listens to all of our episodes and all of our content. We do. We appreciate it, because if not, then what the fuck are we doing it for?
Yeah.
But I did want to add on really quickly here. So Les had asked the question, are you the first and only? So you are. However, and then I brought up Kevin's comment about Saka. Steve told me, and he's scheduled to come on the show in a few weeks, he told me he would like to come down to the studio to do this with me.
Does he know what the studio is, though?
I told him. I do it out of my house. I mean, I don't.
Yeah.
It's not like a building. It's just my house.
Yeah.
And he said he would come down because he's not far, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
He lives nearby.
What are you gonna serve Steve for dinner?
I'll
Maybe Carney can cook for you guys.
Carney will leave some chicken.
We'll leave some chicken behind, and we've got some panino fingers that are mozzarella cheese wrapped in some prosciutto.
Yeah.
So there's plenty of snacks here. But no, I guess I'm technically the first in studio. I've been in studio many times, but
yes,
it's also a loaded thing because I'm not technically a guest at the same time, even when I am a guest.
True.
So it says featuring me every week. So if I'm here, I'm featured.
So I guess technically Steve will be the first guest if I decide yes, I'll let you come down into the inner sanctum
by a technicality.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I have to talk to Steve. I keep forgetting to get back to him on that, but now this has come up 2 weeks in a row. I have to tell him, like, all right, Steve, you may come and grace us.
Speaking of Steve, then we move on because we spent enough time on him. But I saw the large Sasquatch down at Smokin in person. It's ridiculous. It's stupid. Did somebody win that thing already?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think somebody
Okay,
did.
so I do know. So someone won it, but this guy lives in France.
Yeah.
And Steve said that he would buy it off anybody who wins it.
Yeah.
And so Steve bought it off the guy, and Steve has it in his warehouse now. And they actually gave it like a little bit of a makeover.
Yeah, that's the one they put the makeup on, right?
I did see that. Oh, so that was after. Oh, okay. So
someone. Yeah. So someone won it, but Steve ended up buying it off.
Is it bigger than
or
you?
I don't know if he might have donated it.
It's big. Yeah, it's bigger. It's Sasquatch sized.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not a Saka Squatch. It's a actual Sasquatch. I mean,
Jesus.
It's massive. Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Jesus.
Yeah, so there you go. There's the news. Breaking news. It's been bought. Well, it's probably not breaking. People probably already reported on that.
We'll have breaking news later in the show. But first, I want to get to a couple of things. As far as what we're smoking tonight, we have a couple of different things here. We're going to turn to our friends at 2guyscigars.com. That's right, the number 2 guyscigars.com. Sidebar, quick comment, because you're going to be there this weekend.
Yeah.
The inaugural New England...
The inaugural.
Inaugural, sorry.
Not in
Sorry,
inaugural.
it came out fast.
Okay.
All right. But the New England Cigar Expo, which you will be representing La Flor
Yeah.
Dominicana at this weekend.
Yeah.
It's going to be up in New Hampshire. 2-day event. I believe it's sold out now.
It is. It sold out,
Yeah.
I think, yesterday
Sold
or
out.
today or this morning.
Yep.
Yeah, first time doing it. There's been other big style events like that before in the Northeast, but not for a long time. Like, especially that size. We're talking, I think there's like over 1,000 people coming.
Yeah.
It's huge. The first night's a VIP dinner on Friday night, and which is kind of replacing the 2 Guys anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
So they're still doing a VIP special thing. I think there's 500 people for that, and then the next day there's 1,000, I believe.
Total, yeah.
Might be more, but that's on Saturday. The coolest thing is it's at this farm, but it's owned by a church. So on all the
Yeah.
advertising, it's a cigar event at a church venue, which is cool.
Yeah.
But it's not a
Yeah.
church. But it looks like that when you see where the
And
what it's
farm.
called.
And farm,
But it's
yeah.
a farm, and
And a
it
farm.
should be really cool. And then the little person, is it little person wrestling? What do they call themselves?
Micro Wrestling
Micro Wrestling.
All-Stars.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be awesome. That's the grand finale on Saturday afternoon. And so it should be really cool. I think it's obviously everything 2 Guys does is always first class and really well organized from point A to Z. There'll probably be some hiccups and things that they'll see internally, but if you're going, I think it's going to be a great time, and I am looking forward to it. I very rarely look forward to multi-day, multi-vendor events because we do a lot of them, but this is one that I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see what they add that's different, and I think it's going to be a great year. So
I'm excited.
it's gonna be a good move.
I'm excited to
hoping
see
in the
how
next
it
couple
unfolds.
years I can try to fly up and then maybe do a show with Matt in person in the studio
That's right.
and then go to the event.
Well, you have to. I mean, you're part of the team.
We could get a wide-angle lens and just put you right in between us, like a little hot dog.
I'll fit. I can fit right there. So
You gotta
there's
wear
a
a
little
red
gap
shirt.
right there. I can
Wear a red
I
shirt.
can fit right there.
And you look like a red New England hot dog, and we got yellow, and we'll look like the hot dog buns.
Yeah. We can
Wait,
make it happen.
Carney, are you Italian at all?
No, Irish.
I was gonna say we could do the Italian flag because me and Matt are Italian.
Now you guys can do that together on your own time.
With Nicole then.
Get to that right time. Oh my God. Anyway, our cigars this evening are once again brought to you by the number 2 guyscigars.com. If you head over there today, you'll find an amazing selection of cigars and cigar accessories from the industry. Only at the number 2 guyscigars.com. Now, I am finishing a Hoya de Nicaragua Antonio Lonsdale, which is a limited size, but perhaps my favorite. I love this cigar. But on deck, and I know, John, you're finishing up something else, but
What am I smoking?
you're finishing a Arturo Fuente Don Carlos Personal Reserve. But we do have with us, in honor of La Flor Dominicana being here with us, we have the La Flor Dominicana Cameroon Cabinet Torpedoes, which we have on deck, which La Flor Dominicana cigars, as well as Arturo Fuente cigars, and I believe Hoya de Nicaragua, can all be found at the number 2 guyscigars.com. And, of course, tonight we are lighting our cigars and
But
cutting our
Am
cigars.
I not smoking a cigar?
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot about you. You're so quiet over there.
Thanks.
You're so quiet
No,
over there.
I'm smoking the Solus, the LFD Solus. This
Mm-hmm.
was actually handed to me personally by the blender himself. Lito
You had
Jr.
to have been started. You were smoking that before the show started, right? You're already halfway.
I
through
was,
baby.
yes,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was. I lit it up a while ago. Yeah.
By the way, update.
This is good.
Update. Yeah, it's great smoke. Once you get about like an inch in, I say it all the time, and I always joke around with Junior. I'm like,
The
dude,
Solus?
yeah, he's like, he's gonna get sick of me saying this, but like literally, once you get like a 3/4 of an inch to an inch in, that thing is incredible. Not that it's not good at the start, but it warms right up. It's phenomenal. An inch in, absolutely
Yeah.
incredible. By the way, update. Breaking news: Cigar Dads, by recommendation of my wife, will be called Cigar Daddies.
Oh,
That Cigar Daddies is better than Cigar Dads.
I'll take it.
Are
I'll take it.
Are they pink? Are they going to be pink shirts?
Of course they're going to be pink. That's a great idea.
There we
Yeah.
go.
Girl dads.
Yeah. Cigar daddies.
Yeah.
Cigar daddies.
Yeah, that's right. All right, we can make that happen.
They better
Make
watch
that
out
happen.
for us in Vegas this year, man.
The daddies are going to roll deep.
Yeah, they are.
I love how I switched my mic over the other side because I was smoking my left
Yes.
hand. Now I'm smoking with my right hand.
Just can't win
That's
with
the
you.
problem,
They
you know.
fucking can't win with you. The ash. Look at this.
don't fuck with
His
them.
ash is on my chair. How does that happen? You're ashing on me. Jesus.
I'm ashing everywhere.
Jesus Christ.
At least we're wearing yellow shirts so it doesn't show. If we had black shirts on tonight like we were going to do, we'd have ash all over us. We'd look terrible.
Yeah, I know. I had to break the Hawaiian shirt streak. But that's
Yeah, you were doing that, huh?
Yeah.
So, dude, I saw my friend Michael Sespinkevich from Cigar Hustler.
I know who he is. Yes.
He was at an event in Orlando that he was doing with his brand Pastania, and one of his buddies, Steve, had a Pastania. I think it was Steve. It might have been one of them. Had a Pastania Aloha shirt with the logos on it. It was badass.
Wow.
Yeah, I looked at that. I'm like, that is really badass. I go, I need to do that with an LFD shirt.
I need to do that with the Smokin Tabacco shirt.
Yeah, it was one of the cooler things I'd seen. I was like, that's really cool.
Mike, we're stealing that idea.
Don't worry, Drew Estate probably will do it soon anyway, and then send the Smokin Tabacco logos up.
Yeah, Drew Estate, they're good to us.
Yeah, as was said.
They'll
but
hook
dude,
us up.
That they'll like that idea. They do it. It would work great. Imagine with the Drew logos, that the backdrop you have for Spare Notes kind of could be like an Aloha shirt pattern, and you put some other logos on it, be epic.
Yeah, it's a nice light blue. It's very fun, and it's a great backdrop. But we anyway, I'm getting back to the show here. We're, as always, our friends from ST Dupont. ST Dupont, be exceptional, have provided us with our accessories or tools for the evening as well. We have here's a cutter. There you go. We have an ST Dupont. I don't have my I don't have my Defi Extreme. It's okay. Well, I have it, but I also have my other stuff. I have my Line 2. I have my Maxi Jet. We have the amazing cutter.
That cutter's beautiful.
With the prop. Sorry, I know cigar props watching, but this is a cigar
can't
prop.
say prop though. Can you say prop?
I don't know. Can we say that, Kevin?
How do I prop this then?
Kevin, can we say that?
It's a prop. It's not the cigar prop.
It's not the prop.
It's a prop.
It is a. It
It's
is
a holder.
upside down.
It's a holder.
No. Let me do it.
I'm not elegant enough.
There you go. There you go.
That's cool.
Yeah. See that? I mean, you don't have to cut it that way, but
Cool. I like that.
there you go.
And then it will hold your cigar.
He's still trying to figure it out. It's funny to watch.
It's confusing. It's confusing. I know.
But ST Dupont, check them out. Amazing quality, amazing products, a wide range of different products. I promise you won't be disappointed. Anyway, getting back to the show. I see John's he's in fan mode. He's
Gotta
taking
get it for the
photos.
gram, dude.
I know he's
Gotta get it for the
he's
gram.
gramming. He's gramming right now. Back to the show. So our topic tonight, not that we really have a deep topic, but just the theme was just the girl dad show, the cigar daddies show, and that's really it. I feel like we already kind of covered that, so the rest of this is just going to be kind of gravy. I mean, John's here, so I mean, you guys can only imagine what's about to go down. But just acknowledging some people in the crowd. I see Kevin's here. My wife is here. Les Mann from Coles of London and ST Dupont is here. Les, thank you for being here. Always love to see you. I prefer no music in cigar lounges to hear clearly the pinging of the ST Dupont Perfect Ping lighters. That is right. Look at that. You got to give it to him, dude. He shows up. He shows up, and he has great comments, too.
He does.
He's the man, dude.
Yeah, the quiet lounge with the ping, it really sets it off. It does. But the problem is the lounges that usually don't have music usually don't have ST Dupont lighters in there. And
Yeah.
and there's no pinging going on. It's just complete silence. So maybe what I need to do is carry mine with me more often. The only reason I don't...
You have a nice one,
yeah,
too.
I've got the Declaration of Independence, and I think I have number one... I think I have number 176, too, which is close to 1776. Les actually knows which number I have. I don't know if I have that. I think I've got 28. Curtis Martin is the thing, because he was a Jets fan. It was funny, so I bought the lighter... All right, and I said, hey, I got the Declaration of Independence, and he told me which number I had because he figured out where I bought it. So he had told me the actual serial number of the one that I had. So I mean, the man knows what he's doing. But the only reason I don't carry it around is because they lose it, take it from me, and I'm not losing like a freaking $2,000 lighter that declares the biggest thing that doesn't declare your independence is when they take something away from you that says independence.
Yeah. And you don't have it with you, right? Is at home?
Yeah, I keep it in the case.
Yeah. That's I use mine every day. I mean, not every day, but I use it because I wanted to. And Nicole has the gold dust line too, and she keeps hers in the case as well. They're nice. You don't want to keep them protected.
The Declaration of Independence one comes in a big black case with the actual Declaration of Independence on top of it.
That's right. I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And then Kevin has a line too, and he has I don't know if you remember the space.
I do.
And so he has that one, and then he's got the black box, and it's got the little the sparkly stars on it. That's pretty badass too.
Yeah. The packaging is really nice on those.
Yeah, they do a great job. Oh, here we go. There's an old one.
LFD Birdie in the house.
Yeah, this is an old one.
Been a long time. This is the first time I've been on a show in a long time. The last show I did the McAuliffe Ambassador show, but we talked about football, and it was a really quick one. I did part of it from the car, so I was on it quick. But this is the first real cigar focused show I've done in a long time.
Yeah, which is funny because you're a popular guest. People love when you come on the show, and you haven't been on. See, everyone's here. Barbara's here tonight, because Kevin's probably still working, so I know he'll hear this later. Don't worry, I'm not going to make any jabs at Kevin tonight, Barbara. I know he's had a rough week, so I got to leave him alone. Paul DeGrocco is here, as always.
Paul in the house, my Disney friend.
Paul is in the house.
Paul
or should I leave? I only have 2 boys and 1 on the way. No, you can stay. Come on.
You can be a cigar daddy.
Yeah.
Just went to Disneyland about a week and a half ago. Paul, my wife, had never been to Disneyland before, so I knew you'd appreciate that.
Carl
Carl
from Mr. J's is here. Carl, how are you doing?
I'm gonna flex on Paul right now. A Disney flex.
Yeah. Okay.
We did the Haunted Mansion in Disneyland with the Nightmare Before Christmas liveries on it. So, suck on that one, Paul.
Nice.
Whoa! Shots fired. Shots fired. I don't know. So Paul was on last week, and I know he was at Disney, and there was a discussion that was had about how he goes all the time, and he was like, I haven't been there since the spring, and then he said I don't go in the summertime because I forget what he said, and Paul will remind me too, but he said something like I don't go in the summertime because I'm a professional, I'm not like one of the amateurs or whatever, and he was like only the amateurs go in the summertime.
It's brutal.
And
during
you
summer.
live down there as
Yeah,
well,
it's
so you
brutal.
can. Yeah,
we do go during the summer just because we live in Orlando, but not often, and it's just it's in the summer it's gross. Like the worst thing, waiting in lines and walking around a theme park when it's 95% humidity and 100.
Yeah, I mean, listen, believe me, I love the fact that you guys have warm weather almost all year round because we don't here, and it sucks. But I mean, that humidity that you guys get in the summer.
Yeah, it's brutal. It's brutal.
I thought we had it bad.
Yeah, no, it's brutal.
Yikes.
It sucks.
Although I would still take that over snow.
Yeah.
Any day of the week.
Yeah, I don't know.
You grew up in Maine, so I mean, I know you know that
I
struggle.
have mixed reviews. I don't know. I hate the summers down there. It's awful. I would take. I don't know. It's just gross. It's easy to hate something when you're in it. It's like it's easy to hate the snow when you're in it. It's also easy to hate the heat when you're in it. So it's a give and take. It's kind of like the music thing in a cigar shop, right? Like, why can't we just have an in between? Why can't I just live somewhere where it's just an in between?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Kevin and Barbara live in Vegas, and it does get cold there, but it also, even in the wintertime during the day, it's nice. I mean, they don't deal with large amounts of snow. It does get hot there in the summertime, but there's also no humidity, which I know people argue about, but it does make a difference.
Yeah. So to answer Birdie's questions, he says, "Promise we are going to do a Discord thing in Arizona sometime. It's going to happen, most likely sometime next year."
Really?
Yeah.
So
I'll be out to Arizona a few times next year, and that was where we the guys requested it. We're going to do a big ass cigar for it and have a little herf. But no, it's still on the books.
One-time thing?
Yeah, one-time fun thing for our Discord army, which was disbanded.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, got a little aggressive in there. The boys went real hard in the paint, and it was good, but it's got a little tough,
Yeah, sometimes things happen. But yeah, those boys they showed out for the Tatuaje
All
NFT
good
though.
things come to an end. All good
And
things come to an end.
so they kept it going in the Tatuaje Discord. So it's it was nice to see the boys again, I will say. Anyway, what we got going on here? We got a lot, and they're all here tonight. Wow, look at that! They're all here. Look at that.
We got a crowd.
We have a
We got a
crowd.
serious crowd. We get to provide some entertainment.
I know we do.
Carney brings out the show.
He really does. John, I know that you've also been spending a lot of time with your child.
Not just that. We've had
You've been doing some
well,
travel.
we just restructured. We restructured a bunch of our territories, which are going to change soon. We have a person moving to St. Louis, and we're adding a couple new states that haven't had direct representation in terms of faces.
talking about LFD. I'm talking about you.
Yeah, I'm talking about LFD as well. So
I
we've
wanna
been
talk
doing
about
that.
you.
Well, we are. That is me.
Well, okay.
So that's taken a lot of time. We're hiring a couple new salespeople. We just launched a new website, which is cool. LFDcigars.com, brand new. And
How's working with Junior?
good, man.
'Cause
He's done for.
He's your right hand man.
He
now,
is,
right?
yeah. He's done for the year though, because he's still in college, so he'll be done in December, and then we'll start figuring out kind of how he's going to transition up to the Northeast.
He's gonna be up here, right?
Yeah. I don't know if he's going to move up here right off, but he's going to be covering the territory, so we'll be figuring that out towards the end of the year. What's weird though is because as the year's coming to an end, we're in the final quarter of the year just about. And then it's crazy how busy the first quarter of the year is going to be for the premium cigar industry, because you've got January is kind of a weird month because factories are closed in December for a few weeks. So you're just kind of getting started back in January. February, we've got pro cigar festivals, a bunch of other cigar festivals going on. And then in March, boom, you have PCA shows. So like the PCA show is now 6 months away.
It is.
Yeah, which is wild, right?
It is, and it's
I'm waiting for those rim blocks, man.
it's crazy to think. It's crazy to think that we're already going to be back there soon. And then the next time we go back will be a full year. Actually, no, it'll be
just about a full year.
More than a
it'll be
year.
more than a year because
Like 13 months or something.
April.
yeah, and then we'll be in
Yeah.
New Orleans,
Yep.
which is going to be a very interesting time.
The crazy one was the TAA was in March last year, this year.
Yes,
And it's not till October next year.
right,
So you had like 18, 19 months in between, almost 2 years
for the TAA.
in between. But with that, so it's funny because you had the trade show, it was under a year until the next trade show. After the trade show happened in July, and then you had TAA. When you're done with TAA, you really weren't going to be back doing that type of thing again for almost 2 years. So
Right.
it really changes the dynamic of schedules, and it's going to take a change. It's going to change people's schedules up. Really, is what it's going to do in the way routines happen. And you can already see that kind of happening internally.
Well, the way products are released too. I mean, a lot of. I mean, as a manufacturer, you could speak to this. I mean, a big part of the year has to be planning around what you're going to show at the trade show. If so facto you have something to show. Some companies don't always show something. Sometimes it's we're just here meeting with accounts. But
I think for us, it's going to be the change is going to be good in terms of the way product goes out. Because normally we show products in July or August, whenever the trade show is, when it was in the summer, and then usually they start coming out towards the end of the year. But really, the beginning of the next year is when they start really showing up, because of the closures over the holidays. So I
Right.
think it moving to March, we'll announce things in March, and maybe you'll start seeing products in the fall from us rather than late fall, early winter. So for us, I think it's going to be the move will be in terms of new products. We'll have it make a little more sense to people. We're not a huge company, so it's not years of planning like there is in some spots. But announcing something in March, the likelihood of seeing it is going to be more of a focus throughout June, July, August, September, which are your bigger months in terms of production, because they're going full tilt there for about 6, 7, 8 months before the holiday season starts up. And things slow down in manufacturing side. So I think for us, it's going to really change the way people see products. We always joke around. It's like, oh, it'll be out in the fall, and then it comes out in the winter. I think now you'll start to see where the products will be out in the fall because of the show being in March.
well, and for people like us too, everyone kind of does their thing different. And I know, like for example, Coop has a deadline for stuff that's eligible for Cigar of the Year, and it has to be on shelves before the first day of the trade show of that year. And I haven't talked to Coop, but I'm curious if he changes that policy with the trade show being much earlier in the year.
Well, I think it'll have more products that'll be available to be seen.
Yeah.
Because people are going to, if you announce it in March, you're going to have to get it done that year because you've got another show coming up in March or April.
Yeah.
You don't want to be releasing your new products right before you're going to announce other new products.
So yeah, to my point, like you can get more stuff on the shelves that's eligible because for us, our deadline for Cigar of the Year is Halloween, so it has to be publicly available to be eligible for for that year's Cigar of the Year list. If it comes out after November, December, it's ineligible until the following year. So for us, it's great because our deadline is much later in the year, but it's also at a point where, like you were saying, you get more time for those manufacturers to get stuff on the shelves, more stuff that will be eligible in the current year and that doesn't have to wait another cycle. So yeah, I mean that's nice too. And also, I mean, there's a lot of manufacturers that showcase products, and I know not you guys, but there's been a lot of manufacturers that showcase products, and they ship them almost right away. So you're going to see probably a lot more fall releases too. I'm sorry, spring releases too, because you'll get people who are shipping stuff right away for the start of the spring/summer.
Yeah.
Which would be nice, and then of course, like you said, the fall.
Yeah, I think the time frame on it. There's there's pros and cons from anything, but I think the time frame, just in terms of products, and the way it works with the cycle of business, I think it's going to be a better time frame. It will be, to be seen, to be determined, but I really think it's going to be.
And you know what? Even I think not one of the biggest things, but a huge factor is also just being able to smoke outside, possibly now in Vegas during the show. Like before, it was
yeah, that's true.
pretty much
that
forcing you
Davidoff,
inside.
Yeah, that Davidoff bar, that outside one, the one that's like a circle.
Yeah,
that's going to be a lot busier in March than it is during.
Yeah,
during the summer.
like,
there's times I want to go over there, and I'm like, I just don't go because I'm like, I don't want to deal with 100 degrees at freaking 9 o'clock at night.
Well, I remember
the night we had dinner.
I was just gonna say.
To go to the Espinosa event, and they were outside, and I show up like in a full suit, and I'm sitting outside, literally just like sweating buckets, sitting there listening to people, and it's like 11:30 at night and like 33 degrees outside.
Yeah, and you're like,
Celsius.
Celsius, yeah, and you're like, what the heck am I doing? They're like, am I this much of a degenerate where like this is what I got to do? And it's crazy, man. It is. So the dynamic of the outdoors, man. I didn't even think about that for like just the enjoyment. Like it's gonna be nice to go outside. Like, hey, let me get outside of the casino, go outside, and enjoy some cool air a little bit. Yeah,
exactly.
That's gonna be nice. Yeah.
Yeah, more fresh air too. You're not just being contained in the smoke cloud.
Well,
all
then
the
also
time.
we're going to be at a different venue. We're at the Las Vegas Convention Center.
Yes.
So that's more
And Resorts
conducive to
World.
being naturally outdoors. Because you got to go outdoors to get to where you're going.
Right.
So there's going to be more outdoorsy activities. The PCA is becoming the outdoors edition. By the way, not a bad idea.
No.
Somebody gave me this idea the other day that the PCA should. I was talking to Sam from Casa Monte Cristo in Countryside, Illinois, and he brought up this great freaking idea, dude. I don't know if I'm supposed to say it. Should I say it? He said the
Don't tease
PCA
it.
should buy a big warehouse with all the manufacturers and all the stuff down in Miami, and it's like a year-round venue, and then that's where the show is every year. And you have food vendors, the whole thing. Like it can't cost that much more than paying all the money at a trade show, right? And then everybody leaves the trade show booths there. It's set up for them. They can rent the space out for special events throughout the year, or or it doesn't even have to be cigar related. But how cool of an idea would that be? And I'm sure other people have said it before. I don't know. It's the first time it's been brought up to me, and I was like, dude, that would be genius.
I think I know who said that to you too, because I've heard.
told you.
Oh, who's?
I just said it was Sam from Casa Monte Cristo.
Oh,
Countryside,
sorry.
Illinois.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. Well, you know why? Because Mike had said that too.
Right, cool.
Mike Sespinkevich.
Yeah, there's probably a bunch of people that said it, but it's a great idea. Like,
He had
that
mentioned
would
the
be
warehouse thing.
Yeah, like by the way,
Yeah.
at night it'd be a nice facility, air conditioned and everything. It can't be that much more expensive to do some sort of a lease on that. And then you have somebody that professionally rents it out for other events. There's big events that go on in Miami that would love to use something
And
like
Coop
that.
would love it because he loves to go to Miami.
Yeah. Oh, he'd be reporting live from the PCA headquarters warehouse regularly throughout the year.
Oh yeah, he'd be down there just with Hector Alfonso and
Oh, all of those. Yeah,
Yeah.
Jack Tarano and those boys.
Yeah.
They'll all be sitting there every day of the week.
yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Well, and I feel like it would even, how we were just mentioning Espinosa, they do their Zonapalooza kind of thing. Like it would open the possibility for other brands now to almost implement that kind of strategy in terms of using that hall as a yearly brand event as well. And just
That's true.
I feel like if it was run properly, the PCA would make money on it and then use that towards either A, subsidizing the price for people to come to PCA, B, put it towards all the funds they need to fund everything. It is one of the best ideas so far that have been brought up, in my opinion. I haven't heard either the PCA doesn't know about it, or I've never heard them even talk about it as a possibility, or maybe they are talking about it and they just can't really say anything
Yeah,
at
well,
this
that
point.
would be internal discussions, like if they
It,
coming out,
it would take a few years too.
yeah, but I mean, coming out and having an actual discussion about it, that would be just speculative. But yeah, no, they could easily rent it out to places. Imagine like renting it out places and raising money off of other people doing other different types of events that aren't just cigar related.
Right.
The main focus for me for PCA is they just got to pick a home and settle in. Every other association on the planet has the show the same time of the year at the same place every year. So then it becomes a habit, and it becomes a ritual and, a tradition that like, hey, the third week of March every year we're going out to Vegas, or the third week of March every year we're going down to the PCA warehouse show, something like that. So, that is a great idea. The first idea they need to have is pick a home and announce it so when we shouldn't be going to the trade show finding out when the next trade show is going to be. You know what I mean? Like we shouldn't. Like we don't know exactly when the trade show is going to be in 2025. We should, or where. We should know where, when, and we should know it right now. And we should know it for the next 10 years. So it becomes part of what you're doing, part of your routine. And then as a member of PCA, then you have less of an excuse not to go because you know when it's going. You can build your work schedule around it. You don't have as many excuses of saying, well, it's random each year. I don't know. This is a bad week, 4th of July week, which is tough. That's that. If you have the same week every year, people work around it and they know where it's going to be, then it becomes something that you do every year. It's like a pilgrimage.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Kevin was asking, we'll be at Ybor City. I think he's asking about the Cigar Heritage Festival. Yes, we'll be there.
Are you going to be there personally?
I think December. I think I'm going to be, yeah.
Okay. All right, nice. Well, there you go, Kevin. There's your answer. But yeah, no, I mean, the PCA thing, I know that they had said that they still want to remain in Vegas too, and maybe go to another city every couple of years and then go back to Vegas for a few years and then
Here's
bounce
the way
around.
I look at the other city thing. When you go somewhere else, the goal is to try to capture either more people to come to that show or have that show want to create more people to come to the next year. So I think going from city to city or going Vegas and then another city, I don't know if that brings more people the next year. So like if the show's in Vegas this year and then you go to New Orleans next year, does that bring more people to Vegas? I don't know. It might bring more people than we're at New Orleans, but the goal would try to be in the same place and grow each year in the same place, right? So the purpose of moving and going somewhere else is to create variety, and that variety should create more participation, and I don't think it does.
And as a manufacturer too, I mean, most of you guys have all your booths stored in Vegas right now, just so that they're ready. So they stay there. You guys don't bring them back to Miami.
Yeah.
So
the savings on it's not massive individually. However, once you bring it all together and don't move booths around, then you could say, hey, we're going to buy this facility and this is what we're going to do, but your booth's going to be 15% more. Well, people complain, well, I don't want to pay 15% more. Well, you're going to make it back in 3 years because you're not going to transport it back around for 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 grand, whatever the price is for bigger booths or whatever. You save that over 3 or 4 years if everybody had an extra 20, 30, 40 grand or whatever, and say there's, 30 manufacturers of that size that can afford that type of thing. You're talking like $1.2 million. It's a big deal over just a couple of years, right?
yeah, because you guys have all those booths that have been sitting in Vegas for the last several years. Next year you'll use it, but then after that you got to move it to New Orleans, and then if they put the show back in Vegas, you got to bring it back to Vegas.
Yeah, I think the big issue with buying something like that is so the PCA bought their offices, right? They own that townhouse. That was a pretty expensive purchase.
Yeah.
I would venture to say a warehouse type thing is going to be really expensive, and they're just getting back to being in some sort of a good financial situation for the last couple of years.
Right.
So I don't know if financially that makes the most sense, but there is a way to think about it. But that's why I said the first focus for me would be pick a home, stay there, and commit to it. And if I was in charge of it and getting to make all the decisions, which it's a group, so you don't get to, and one person doesn't get to make all the decisions. I would go out and say next year when we get to Vegas, this is our home for the next 10 years. PCA is in Las Vegas, and we're going to be at the Las Vegas Convention Center. These are our host hotels, and this is our home, and this is going to be this week every year for the next 10 years, and this is our home. Where PCA is committed to consistency, which consistency provides a bigger impact and return for the members. So that would be my first announcement right in breakfast in the morning. But that won't happen.
Probably not, but A for effort. Mm-hmm. Kudos to you for bringing awareness. Have you shared any of these thoughts with the PCA?
Occasionally, yeah, I think so. No,
I mean, those are the people to share it with.
yeah, no, I mean it's been shared with them. I think there's tons of sharing that goes on. Not directly in terms of like in front of them. I think in passing, there's a lot of discussions that happen. But then what discussions do you have in passing, and then what's discussed in a board meeting or executive committee meeting are two different things. So who knows where they go with that? I don't know what the inner discussions are in that, and if they ask my opinion, I would certainly give it.
As you always do. Do you think that you've talked too much yet on the show? Do you think that
totally.
have you got to the know-it-all stage yet?
Not know-it-all, but I mean, I am the guest, and I'm a feature. So I'm playing double roles. I just talk twice as much.
I know Mitchell hasn't even really gotten in a whole paragraph.
He's finished like 5 solis. I've been talking so much.
I know. This kid likes to smoke.
I'll run through these things.
Yeah. But yeah, so we got that coming up soon. That's going to be exciting. The next 6 months. I mean, it's a busy 6 months. Next year's also LFD's 30th anniversary. Well, it's 30th anniversary of Lito Nez in the cigar business.
Yes.
Technically 28 years of LFD, 30 years of actually owning a cigar company. Because the company went from Los Libertadores in 1994 to Flor Dominicana in 96.
Yes.
But it'll be our 30th anniversary next year, and that's going to be fun. So they're working on some fun projects. That everyone's involved in it. Lito, Tony, Junior, Inez, everybody.
You?
Yeah. I gave some opinions on it, which was good. I'm not sure what they're doing, but there's been little thoughts and ideas, and yeah, so they're coming up with some great stuff for that. We've got the LGs coming back real soon, too. So it's a busy 6 months for us, and we're adding in 1 million additional cigars next year.
Of production?
Yeah. Yeah, and we just finished a massive expansion at the factory that's going to be wrapped up in the next month or two, too. So.
Yeah, I heard about that. I know
It's
Lito talked a little bit about it, and
Yeah.
you guys bought a property that was adjacent to the current factory. And
Yeah, I can't wait to show pictures. It's funny because Lito and I were joking like a week or so ago in the office. This expansion that's going on right now is really visually changing it. It's going to look like a completely different place in the exterior of it. And it's really doubled the land mass that we have for the most part. So we were talking at Pro Cigar Festival. I said, Lito, it's going to be weird. I go, because every year for the last like 3 or 4 Pro Cigar Festivals, there's been a pretty big change at the factory. This last year, we've had this new courtyard and a brand new fountain, added some new production space. And there was some construction that had just started when we were there last time. So the people that came to the factory last year, when they get here this year, I go, it's going to be like they walked into a completely different place because the entrance is changing. The whole thing's changing. And I was like, so how are you going to outdo yourself next year? Do you like double the size of it and grow up like a skyscraper? I'm like, what do you do? And he's like, no, he goes, it's going to be, he goes, you're right. It's going to be really different for people. I said, yeah, just for me. I go, from the last time I was down there, I go, I'll be walking into essentially a different facility really than what was there before. So it'll be fun to see people's eyes and see where it's changed. And hopefully, the way we represent the 30th anniversary, we really highlight that stuff too. So it's, it's kind of appropriate that's all happening at the same time.
now this is something that I know we can talk about because I believe it's already been publicly thrown out.
We're about to find out.
But for your next TAA cigar, I know it's going to be changing.
You mean for 2024?
Yes.
Well, it's going to have to change because the
Golden Blend,
the
I
Golden
believe.
Blend's done. Last
Yes.
year was the last year, and,
Yes.
and 2023 is the LG Emerald, the Emerald Edition.
Yes.
For the 55th year of the TAA. So yeah, we'll be doing something different. We actually haven't really even talked about that yet, just because we got LG going on. We've got the expansion going on at the factory, trying to get the bulls back out again. Those were out of production for about 3 or 4 months. Getting those back. One of the questions I get was like, "Oh, was that impacted because of the golden NFT?" No, it uses different parts of the leaf and tobacco plant, so it doesn't have an impact on it. The bull's a bigger cigar; it uses more of the leaf. So it was just a matter of the expansion going on that kind of delayed that a little bit, and then tobacco being ready. So no, we haven't touched on what's going to happen for TAA. We probably won't touch on that until after the PCA show in March, just because there's so much going on for the next 6-7 months. So it's not even it's not even a glimmer in Daddy's eye right now.
Ooh, I like that. Nice
It's
touch.
a Daddy show.
That's right. One thing I wanted to ask you about, because we just saw the Smokin Tabacco NFT, the Anarchy NFT, go on sale and unfold. Last year it was La Flor Dominicana. You guys were the stars of the
Dude,
show.
if Sokka's going to come here, you're going to need a better chair, bro. This chair is not going to hold him.
I'll get him another chair.
Okay.
I'll get him
All
another
right,
He needs
chair.
a
sorry,
throne.
what were you saying?
Well, I wanted to. Are you comfortable? Look at you.
I'm getting comfortable.
Okay. You're leaning against the backdrop. Everything's moving. Um, give us an update on how those are going with those NFT holders. You know, that's something people ask me, like, well, how are those going with the actual NFT holders? Like, are they selling them? How are they selling them? How's that going?
Yeah, it's important to understand that the NFT concept was just a utility. It was kind of it's a technology to gain access to the utility, which is the actual cigar products. In the case of the NFT for Tatuaje, the Duponts, the Zycar cutters, the artwork, and things like that. So there was a story that just came out a couple weeks ago that was saying that I think it's like 95% of NFTs now are valued at zero. And it was funny because I spoke at an NFT conference, and part of my discussion there was the technology side of this is what the long game is. It's not digital artwork from fat pandas, digital monkey, crazy clowns, or whatever. All this crazy artwork that was like people money laundering. We're just making money on things that people crazy stuff, right?
Yeah.
So that stuff's doesn't have the value, but the 5% that still does is things that have real life access to it. And these two products were really great examples of it. And so you were asking how it's doing on the second end of it, and the Tatuaje stuff's coming out in the next couple of weeks, so you'll see kind of some of the stuff that's going on with that. I'm excited to see that out there. But the Golden's been doing excellent. There's a group called the Golden Purveyors. They started a distribution channel. They're in about 12 retailers when I looked on the website recently. There's a group called the Lucky Number 7, which is through the owner of 6 and 7 that distributes those. I just got tagged today from the said Costa Monte Cristo just brought that in. So I think their goal is to try to move it to about 25 or 30 retail outlets with kind of an appointed merchant program. So no, it's been going really good. There's a lot of things we're doing internally to elevate that product too
And help them.
Yeah, we're doing, we've helped them design displays, we've helped them with packaging, we're updating the bands on it. It's going to be the band that's currently on it is the secondary band on the Andalusian Bull, so now it's getting a band sometime early next year. We'll have a special band that's made just for the NFT cigars, the Golden Edition. And then we're also making these individual coffins for individual sales. So when you buy something really nice, it's nice to have it presented well. So you buy a box, it's beautiful, and you buy a cigar, you buy it out of the box, it's beautiful, but it's going to be much nicer in a coffin, keeps it better. Individually cedar made. Tony has a box factory called Insignia Madeira, and the coffins are going to be made of those, and they're all cedar, so they can technically be like an individual cigar humidor.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so those will be coming out sometime into the year, early next year too. So no, it's going really well. I think everybody that's had it's really happy with it, and I said that Golden Purveyor group has really come out with something unique and special, and that's really presented it nice, and it's a really high-end luxury product. Now it's really something special.
My question is, I know it's only been a year since the original purchasers have owned the NFT, but have any of them even played or toyed with the idea of reselling their own NFT to another person who's been like really interested? Like someone went to them and was like, man, this is like awesome. I want to own this NFT so I can have access to that. Has that even, I don't know if
there's people that have made offers. There actually has been one sale, but it was an owner that was sold to another owner.
Okay.
So it was an internal sale. Yeah. Number 6 sold to number 7. So the gentleman that owned number 7, Don at Cigars on the Avenue in Winter Park, Florida, owns 6 and 7.
So he has 2.
Yeah.
Alexander Martinez has 2.
Yeah.
And then Jack Schwartz has 1.
Yep. And then Cigar Country out of the Dominican Republic has 1. And then there's a private owner named Nick Barry that owns number 3.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
And he owns that just for himself. He does. It's not a retailer, right?
He's getting involved in the distribution side of it now. As I said, that group started something really nice with the Golden Purveyors, and it really caught on. And it's kind of the big thing was when people bought them originally. A lot of people, what you saw when they did there was people trying to flip it real quick in their mind, like, hey, we'll put it out there, make our $100,000 back, and then make another $100,000. And it really doesn't work that way. That's not how luxury products are sold or luxury brands built. So it was really, I think the remaining owners were waiting and looking to see what the other owners were going to do. And whoever had the best idea, either expound on it and take it to another level, or if it's a complete program that made sense, jump on board and work together. And it's really come across that way.
It's a great idea.
Yeah, it's come across that way now where it seems like, they're all pretty much working together.
It's nice to see, because I remember when it first started, a lot of people were still skeptical. Like, well, how's this going to work? And then, like you said, the original thought was, we'll get them, we'll sell them. That didn't quite work out. But then they were able to come up with this new idea, and now they get this.
Yeah, and it's just the reason why is if you don't have a plan for buying something, selling something, nobody makes a plan to buy it, right?
Right.
So you've got to if you want somebody to buy something, there's got to be a plan in place and a sales process that puts that in front of the person that may want to buy it or present it in a way that somebody may want to buy it. Just putting something on the shelf that's real high end and has a great story and had a lot of financial pushing behind it doesn't just sell something. It's got to be presented the right way. And it really has, and I think they're doing a good job of it. And I think you're gonna see in the next 3 or 4 months where it's going to be something that's very sought after. It's already sought after now, but it's going to get even bigger.
That's exciting to see. And remind me again, and what is the total allocation of cigars per owner?
They get 60 boxes a year.
Okay.
60 14-count boxes. That's what,
Okay.
820 cigars?
I think so. Yeah, roughly.
720.
Quick maths.
It's 14 times 60. 840.
Yeah.
Do we have any mathematicians here? Oh,
I'm just waiting for you
we
to get
got-
the calendar
we
out,
got-
the calculator out.
We got dead air. 840. We got dead air because we had to do math.
There was no background music.
There was none. No.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Hey, but we got the answer, though.
Hey, last time I was here, wasn't there a dog?
Our dog?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had to put her down.
I'm sorry. That's awkward.
It's very awkward.
It wasn't healthy, though.
She was good up until the very end.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately. It was about a year ago now, actually, so it's been a year.
I just heard a dog back here. That's what made me think of it. So
That's
their
almost
spirit lives
that's
on.
almost as awkward as when, because Jack Heyer was on the
Yeah,
show.
I know.
Yeah.
That was hilarious. Dude.
Yeah. Hey, how about your dog? We put him down. Oh.
That wasn't on this show.
No,
that was
no,
That was,
it was on
Cigar Dojo.
Dojo.
Dude, it was a riot.
Yeah. But that's almost kind of the same thing. Hey, what about that dog? Yeah, we put her down.
Dude, that was
oh.
one of the funniest things. It was like funny, haha, and then funny, awkward,
It's
uncomfortable.
like, oh, fuck, man, that sucks.
Yeah.
If there's anyone who could get their way through that awkwardness, though, it's Jack. He can take it like a champ. Let's do news really quick. Let's talk about news. We have some exciting to go. Oh, look, and your wife's down here. Way to go, P-Bear.
Thanks, peeps.
Let's do the news real quick. Our news is once again brought to you by McAuliffe Cigars, featuring the new McAuliffe Black, rated 91 at SmokinTabacco.com. McAuliffe Black, it's a blackout.
Speaking of ironic,
I know. I know. But, it's the biggest story of the day.
the news, man.
Sometimes this is what happens.
So, the irony is the current vice president of sales at McAuliffe Cigars is now leaving.
I believe his title was National Sales
I'm
Director.
sorry. You're right.
Yeah,
You're right. It was National Sales Director. Thank you for the clarification.
pleasure. I'm here to. I'm fact checking. Real time fact checking.
Keep that in place.
Well, is there a difference between National Sales Director and Vice President of Sales?
Oh yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
Vice President of Sales, technically in a corporation, is an officer of the company. A sales director, I don't believe is an officer position. It may be, depending on how it's set up, but a vice president is part of an executive officer position.
Like yourself.
Technically, yeah. I mean, it has nothing to do with me. That's just how.
No, I know.
it's set up, yeah.
I'm just saying that's a title
Yeah,
you
and
wear
then
well.
there's some businesses where directors are above those positions too. So I don't know where it makes any sense. So I don't know. I don't know if there's
Maybe
any
you're
difference.
just talking out of your ass.
I'm real time fact checking. Okay? No fake. This is the no spin zone. The spin stops here because I'm looking out for you.
That's right. Crown Heads, a brand that we all know pretty well. Crown Heads has welcomed Andy Yaffe of McAuliffe Cigars and Craig Smith as sales representatives. Crown Heads is proud to announce the addition of 2 new dedicated sales representatives to the team. These appointments come at a time of significant momentum for the company and promise to elevate an already superior level of retail customer support. So our good buddy Andy, who you know very well, you and Andy go way back. So Andy is leaving McAuliffe Cigars.
He's left.
He has left
Yeah, it's over.
and is now working for Crown Heads.
Starts Monday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. This is a big move.
So oh, man, this is interesting because obviously Andy and I are very good friends.
Yeah.
And he and I talk a lot. So, I have insight into this, obviously, and I won't get into the private discussions that we have. But he was very happy with his time there. McAuliffe did great things with him and for him. One thing that I think that was really special is, you know, Andy's very public on social media, so I can say this. When he was going through some challenging times with his divorce, um, Dan Thompson, who's the president of the company, had called me and talked to me as a friend of his. He's like, I just want to make sure he's good and this and that. And I thought that was really nice. And I passed that along to Andy. I'm like, these guys really care about you. The family really cares about you. I said, this is a great place for you to be. I think, externally looking at it, they did a lot of good things with him. When they brought Mickey Peg on, they treated Andy, very well in that process.
Mm-hmm.
So there was, nothing negative there. But obviously the dynamic, I think, of that company is going to change with that type of bringing in a leader. That position didn't exist in a lot of places. There's not many presidents of sales in this industry. So when you give someone that type of a title, there's an expectation of a leadership change in a different direction. So I think that was a natural progression for him. Personal life wise, he's got different things going on. He's based out of Nashville, and that's the place he wants to be. And he was able to live there with McAuliffe. But I think with the changes with that, I think in his head he was just, hey, it's time for something else. Time for the next step of my personal life. And the Crown Heads position presented itself to him, and I think was a good opportunity. And however it was handled one way or the other, that's for all of them to decide. But on the external level and looking at it internally, from what I know, I think it's a good move for him personally. And in the meantime, he didn't leave anybody high and dry. They have leadership there. They're filling in some holes they have in the sales team now in McAuliffe. So they're very strong. They're in a good spot, and I think it's going to be a great opportunity for Andy. And I think it's going to allow McAuliffe to focus on what their next vision is and what their step is for the next step in their business.
Yeah, I mean, you introduced me to Andy, several years ago, and then in turn, Andy had introduced me to McAuliffe and the McAuliffe Ambassador Group, which I know he was a big part of, helping build that community in the beginning. And he's done a lot with them over the years, and he's been very involved. And I think a lot of people have, he's really embraced the McAuliffe brand as Andy Yaffe, and to see him go and leave that brand, I think it's bittersweet. It's sad to see him leave that great community, but at the same time, he's on to bigger and better things, and it'll be exciting to see what he does with Crown Heads and kind of what his ideas are and things that he wants to do. And
I wouldn't necessarily say bigger and better. I know you were saying it as the phrase. He's on to the next step of his life.
Yeah.
That's for him. He's on to the next adventure, on to the next challenge. And Sam McAuliffe's in a great spot. They just hired somebody to be president of sales, and that's a great step for them too. So I think it was
which in itself is a very exciting thing.
So I think, and I know this is going to be something that at least on a short term basis is going to be a good thing for him mentally. And it's kind of fun to watch your friends be succeed at things and be not just succeed, but to see them grow and see their be recognized. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
To be recognized. So it was fun to watch when the stories went out today, because obviously I knew. So it was nice to see when the stories went out today that consumers were, congratulations, Andy, great for you. You're going to a great company. You were at a great place. You did good things there.
Yeah.
There was nothing but positive stuff, and maybe there were some negatives. I don't see a lot of negative stuff, but
I didn't see any.
It was fun to see him applauded in that way, and not deservedly so. And it's him being a very good personal friend of mine, it was kind of, I brought him into the cigar industry when I started. He worked for us for 5 years. That was his first job in cigars. To see where he's been and where he's going, I would love to still have him with us. He did a fantastic job with us, and it was great having someone that was that close to me because I trusted him very much. But he's moved on, and he's done different things. But it was the main purpose and the main success is to have people respect what you're doing, and this is a very consumer-driven business, and to see the consumer base be that supportive of what he was doing was a really nice thing as a friend and someone that I care about to see.
Yeah.
Crown Heads is based out of Nashville. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so it'll definitely help with him being based there. I'm sure he'll be able to just
it's a different beast, man. It's a different type of business. They have a lot of manufacturing partners that are, they do business with Pepin, my father. I think they do some things with Aganorsa. Ernesto Perez Carrillo, the Ozinger family now, they're working with that brand, which is an up-and-coming brand with
Yeah.
some big names in the business, and a lot of history with that. So yeah, no, it's a different beast, and I think I think what McAuliffe's doing is excellent too. They focused on factories. They focused on creating an experience and getting the ambassador group and taking those ambassadors and making them part of their family too. So there's a lot of unique things going on both sides, and ultimately, I personally think he could have been very successful doing what he was doing at McAuliffe. I personally, if people want to know my opinion on it, I think this is a good move for him. So I think he's going to be very successful at it. I think it's going to be a great thing, and I think McAuliffe's going to be in great hands, and they're going to keep doing what they're doing too. So I think it's going to be a win for everybody.
Well, McAuliffe's got quite the team going now. I mean, with Mickey Pegg and the whole sales team and all of that, and Mickey's promoting it as the all gas, no brakes.
Well, they got
pretty epic.
They got a few people nabbed. They've had a few people nabbed now over the last couple months, so that's never fun. Even if it maybe you can flip it and turn it for the good. They have lost a few of their sales reps recently, but they'll fill them up. They got good people in the pipeline, so they're going to be fine. And if it is all gas, no brakes, he's going to get a little bit cleaner slate to work with. And if it succeeds, it's going to be on him. If it fails, it's going to be on him. So
that's very true. Very true. Well, that was our news, brought to you by McAuliffe Cigars. We're going to head back to this screen.
See, that was great cigar news right there, because that was cigar news about a personal friend of mine that I have inside information on. That was huge right there. That you don't get that honesty from many places.
That's true.
You have people that know information on stuff and people that talk. But I mean, he's literally my friend. So that was great stuff right there. I'm a primary source.
Well, I was just gonna say, there's no better person outside of Andy himself to represent him in the news.
No.
That was it's like you're like Andy's spokesperson tonight.
Or what?
You represented him like an agent.
Mm-hmm. I hope you get a little bit of a signing bonus.
You should. You should.
I don't think you got a signing bonus.
Oh man!
Take a percentage as his manager.
Yeah, you got to take a percentage.
Yeah, I know.
He'll hook you up. He'll hook you up.
We'll take care of Daddy. We're the cigar daddies.
You'll get some of those new Lavaredas.
Are you and Andy the same age?
Andy is, I think he's a year and a half younger than me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think he's a little younger than me.
Because you guys went to college together.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, he's a year. I think he's a year younger than me.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure. I thought you were the same.
So I
age,
graduated from high school when I was 19. He graduated when he was 18, I believe. And in Florida, you start a little younger. So everybody graduates a little earlier from high school age-wise. I was one of the older ones. So the year I graduated from high school, I turned 19. Okay, in February, and I graduated in June. So I was 19 when I graduated high school. I was driving as a freshman. I had my driver's license.
Yeah.
And then my first year of college, I was 20. Most kids were turning 19. So I'm about a year ahead of everybody. So Andy's about a year younger than me, I think.
But you guys were like the same year, though.
Man, I think I might have graduated before him.
Okay.
Like 6 months. Well, yeah, we started at the same time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Were you guys roommates?
No. Our friend, one of our mutual friends was.
Oh, okay.
Was my roommate. That's who I met him, Andy, through him.
That's what it was. I knew you guys something like that. But yeah, no, we got to get Andy. You know, we should get Andy on here with you one of these times.
Yeah, sure.
We could do that.
You should get Andy on soon and talk about it, man.
I have to. Yeah. I have to now.
You need to talk to Miguel first to see if it's okay in the team. Like, got to go through the right path.
I know Miguel.
Yeah, you say, Miguel, hey, we want to bring you on.
Miguel's a good guy.
We want to talk. We want to hit some hard-hitting questions. We want to create controversy where there's no controversy needed.
We gotta start trouble.
Yeah, let's start some. Let's get some trouble started where there's no reason to have it.
Let's get Andy fired up right out of the gate and send him out there on a warpath. So, having done the news, having talked about LFD, which, by the way, I don't think I asked you. Your LFD is pretty involved with Pro Cigar.
Oh yeah.
And I know you usually partake in Pro Cigar.
Yes.
And so you'll be down at Pro Cigar again in 24.
I will. It's our 30th anniversary that year, and it's also my 40th birthday.
That's right.
While we're there, so we'll be celebrating both.
So you're gonna have a 40th blowout?
I am. Well, the whole Pro Cigar is going to be the blowout, but
Oh, they're doing it for you.
yeah, for me. Yeah, my
Nice.
In
wife's
honor
coming
of.
down. Some of her family, my wife's family on her mom's side is Dominican
Mm-hmm.
and Lebanese, so they're going to be coming down. So my
Nice.
wife's coming down, and then I think we're going to stay a couple days later and rent a house on the beach or something to hang out because she's got some family down in Santiago that her grandmother still keeps in touch with. So we're going to plan on bringing a little crew down. I don't know if they're going to come to everything. My wife will come to all the stuff with us, but I'm not going to take the whole crew because it's pretty crazy. But yeah, so we'll be down there celebrating that 40th birthday and 30 years.
Sorry, I had something in my eye there.
Mm-hmm.
But that's an exciting time, and there's we may or may not be at Pro Cigar this year,
Excellent.
so we're very excited about that.
Yeah, it's excellent, man. There's really nothing like it. It's easy for me to say it because we're the Dominican company and part of it, but there really is no festival in the world like it. There's others that try to do it. The Habanos Festival is great, but it's Cuba and it's a different.
It has its
different
own
beast.
challenges, yeah.
But it's really it's nothing like it. It's a really classy, well done, very well executed, organized event, and there's nothing like it.
Yeah, I got to speak with some of the people at the trade show at Pro Cigar, and just a shout out to Raquel Casada, who helped facilitate that too. I wanted to say that, but great people. I had a nice conversation with them talking about the event, and and obviously Coop has been a few times and has covered it and whatnot, and it's a very, very special event, which I'm excited to see for myself.
It seems like they're very excited to grow it too, right? Like in just
Yeah.
I think they mentioned a couple of years ago the Dominican Republic itself like sanctioned cigars as like a national heritage thing, so it's like protected in the
As it
Dominican
should.
Republic now.
Yeah, they have like
And
a cigar capital type thing. I don't even know how to describe
Yeah.
it. I've lacked it, but I know
So-
there's an actual term for it. If somebody's on it, it's like the Center for Premium Cigars.
Oh, really?
Yeah, something like that.
and doesn't like the Prime Minister of the Dominican Republic like come to the event or something like that almost every year?
Well,
Or
the vice president has been there before. She's been there. The president was supposed to come, but the vice president came 2 years ago. She was there 2
Yeah,
years
like,
ago.
you know,
And then there was a
the whole
senator or
country
something.
gets
Yeah, there was like
involved.
a senator or something there this year, a high-ranking official. But 2 years ago, the vice president of the country was there, which was really, really cool.
That is very
Yeah.
cool.
Yep.
It says a lot to the
Yeah, they take it very serious.
as they should.
That's the thing here in Canada and even in the States, we're fighting our government just to stay afloat, and they're embracing it. So it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, as we've talked about before, Canada is a crazy country for cigars. That is wow. I feel bad for those people. I really do. You guys, LFD is in Canada, right?
Yeah, we do quite a bit of
Oh,
business
yeah.
in Canada. COVID was actually really good for the Canadian cigars because
Really?
you couldn't go anywhere, you couldn't ship stuff in,
Yeah.
so you had to buy locally. The business grew a ton.
Yep.
And
Yep.
it leveled off. It hasn't like dropped off or anything because people get into routines.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was huge. I mean, it was the best years they've had forever. Yeah, it was the record-breaking years for Canadian cigar business.
I bet it was.
LFD's a strong brand here for sure.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to hear. John, we've covered LFD, we've covered you, but did you have any gripes that you wanted to share outside of what we discussed tonight? You always have something, so I had to ask. Like, is there something? You're kind of like Coop. There's always something that you gotta.
Dude, I've kind of chilled out on being. I don't have enough energy anymore.
Okay.
To gripe about too much stuff.
Hey, at least I'm giving you the
Yeah,
opportunity.
we've got a lot of stuff going on. We're getting our butts kicked. We're
How's-
busy.
How's the
beyond
start of the
belief.
football season treating you?
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. But no, I mean, business-wise, everything's been great. It's been a marathon.
Yeah.
The last 3.5 years.
You've been
so
kind of a
it's been
ghost
great.
lately.
I've been a ghost.
Well, in the sense that you've been hitting the pavement, man.
Yeah, I've been all over the place. But no, it's just been a really busy 3 years, and it's been a different 3 years, right? Like there's been a lot of changes within it.
Yes.
And running back into a normal routine has been the biggest challenge I think for people. What's normal now? What's going to happen? How's the business growing? and we've had in that time we've had tons of growth. So it's been wild, and we're having our best year ever again. So it's great. So no, I have no gripes. I just haven't had enough chance to think about anything.
That's good.
Yeah, I haven't. I've been mainly singularly focused, which is good. I was thinking about that today. I was like, I don't really know outside of what we're doing at LFD everything that's been going on. I used to have my finger, my hand on the pulse of everything, especially when we were doing the show every week together.
Yeah.
That was excellent. There was never more than what I knew what was going on than then.
Oh man, those are some times.
Yeah, so
in
that
the
was
OG
excellent, 'cause
days.
we were talking about everything. We
Yeah.
were smoking everything and whatnot. So I'd say my focus recently has been more singularly focused on what's happening at LFD, and I haven't been as concerned about external stuff, which is good at the same time because that's exhausting.
Sure.
But yeah, no, it's been good. No gripes. I'm trying to think if there'd be any gripes. No,
Sounds like you're good.
no gripes. Football season. This football season started off pretty good.
It was all right.
I'm disappointed that Aaron Rodgers got injured because I was looking forward to every weekend being able to watch that. I hate the Jets, but you figure, you look at the way the Dolphins are playing. The Patriots have a great defense. The Jets' defense is really good. The Bills are really good. I'm not saying the Patriots are an overall good team. Their offensive line is a freaking sieve. They're terrible. But I'm mad he got injured because that was going to be fun to watch him play. It's always great to watch great players play. And but yes, football season's starting off good. I mean, the Dolphins are ridiculous.
They are.
They're really, really good.
This could be Miami's year.
Yeah. If they don't win the Super Bowl, that 70-point game doesn't mean anything.
That's true.
Yeah, especially since they didn't kick the field goal to get the record.
70 points.
Yeah. But hockey started up too,
Damn.
man. I was watching ESPN the other night and a hockey game popped up. It was Rangers versus Bruins in preseason. I'm like, freaking hockey's coming up. Basketball starts next month.
I know.
I'm like, we're getting into the thick of the athletic season. So we got the Olympics coming up in 2024.
I'm excited because we can do mobile sports betting in Massachusetts now.
Mm.
So betting on football, oh man, waited a long time to be able to do that comfortably without having to, be in a sports book or whatever.
Yeah.
You guys have that in Florida?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah. Yeah. They have it at the casino.
But you can't do it on your phone, right?
I think we can. We can do you can do anything you want in Florida, really.
That's true. It's like the Wild West.
Yeah, it's kind of wild down there.
It's the Wild East.
Yeah. But yeah, no gripes. No, everything's been good, man. Yeah, excellent. No complaints. There's been a lot of stuff going on though, cigar wise. I feel like there's been tons of cigar news lately. Tons of there's been a lot of announcements of new salespeople that used to never happen.
There's a lot of staffing stuff going on
was
right
gonna
now.
It
say
used to never
staff.
happen. There used to never be like industry-wide press releases for hiring a sales rep, which
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with it. But I think that's been a trend the last like year or so, where you've seen a lot of, maybe it's not a trend, but you've seen them published, right? So there's a lot of
You-
stories
you know,
about it.
Do you know what I think helped is, like you mentioned, COVID, obviously, and like tons of people doing podcasts, and sometimes the like major like company owner can't always get onto every podcast, so they're like, hey, like you're our national sales rep, you're our vice president, you should go on and talk, and then those people become also the face of the
Yep.
companies, and like you said, the consumers get to learn about their life, get to appreciate them, and get to know about them, and then when they hear about these moves, they're actually excited, or actually they feel connected to this person and want to support the next brand that they're going to be part of.
I think that's a great point. It is a great point because as we talked about earlier, the consumer engagement is at an all-time high. And what's the best way to get, if you have consumer engagement at that level, is to have some sort of a connection with the person who's selling the cigar. So it does make sense. Like, hey, this person's going to be the salesperson for up in whatever territory, and they announce it. And then it's on, you spread it out to the media, and they run it. And then those consumers know, hey, when I'm in the store, I run into this guy. Oh, hey, I heard you're with Crown Heads now, or I heard you're with McAuliffe, or I heard you're with El Septimo, or whatever it is. So, yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, I think, remember, what is a sales rep? Sales representative, a representative of the company. I mean, that person, you don't have to be the owner of the company. You don't have to be Steve Saka or Jonathan Drew or Carlito Fuente. I mean, those guys represent their brands as they should. I mean, they built them. But it's also the people who work for them who are out there day to day making that brand happen, too. And I think it is important for the consumers to know those people, too. Not just like you run into him in an event and that's just the guy. It's no, I know who that is, and they can, and especially with social media during the COVID, as you know, the cigar industry dramatically changed in terms of its digital footprint. I mean, you've been in the business a long time, but the last several years have really more people have gotten engaged, more connected with consumers. Even like Andy, like I said earlier, with the ambassador group. I mean, look at how he, became what he was, and you're right. You're seeing more of that now with all brands.
Well, it just makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Like I said, the point brought up, it's a great point. Like, that's really why it's happened.
Yeah.
That's why it makes sense.
And I think
brands
it's really helped.
I think brands and manufacturers are also starting to realize like that they can have multiple avenues to communicate with not only consumers but even just store owners, retailers, and stuff like that, right? So sometimes store owners, maybe it doesn't get to them through the internal communication chains, and all of a sudden they're reading Smokin Tabacco and they're like, oh sweet, this guy's going to be part of our, he's going to be selling to us, like I should reach out to him like right away, because there's definitely cases where certain stores find out things from us before they even find out from the company itself, and I think,
and vice versa.
And vice versa. And I think, I think brands and companies are starting to realize that they can use multiple avenues to communicate with everyone out there.
So there's something I want to play. Hopefully it comes over the microphone. So I just updated my voicemail on my phone, and I used AI to do it. So you ready for this?
Did you?
Yeah, let's see if we can hear it.
No.
Have reached Jonathan Carney, Vice President of Sales for LFD Cigars. If you are calling for immediate assistance, our offices are available 9 to 5 Eastern Time, Monday through Friday, and can be reached at 305-443-7995. For new account inquiries, please visit www.lfdcigars.com or email us at ligero@lfdcigars.com. For all other inquiries, leave your name and a brief message, and your call will be returned as soon as possible.
That's game changing.
Who is that? I'll be honest with you, that kind of sounded like the voice to text guy from like Microsoft Windows.
No, it was an AI thing. His name's like Stan or something like that.
Stan.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Stan.
The AI.
Yeah.
It's not as personable though.
So here's my thought
I
process.
used to miss when I get your voicemail
Yeah, I
and
know, but
hear
here's my thought process.
your voice.
I want when people call up to have the information that they need, because I'm flying, traveling, or I can't always answer the phone. So I wanted to make sure that when they got it, it wasn't just, hey, you've reached John Carney, Vice President of Sales, LFD Cigars. Please leave a message. I'll get back to you as soon as possible, or something like that. I wanted something that provided more information and made it feel like a professional, like you got an answering service, essentially. You called my phone. You got an answering service. Your call's important. Here's the information. If you readily need information, here's what to do. If you need to call someone immediately for a cigar emergency, here's the information. If not, leave me a message, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can.
Okay.
Yeah.
You could have said all that yourself though.
I could have, but it wouldn't have been as clean as I wanted. So I wrote the script, and I wanted it to sound like a professional answering service is what I wanted it to sound like.
Okay. Let's see. Tony Petrain said, it sounds like a weather emergency alert. See? It's not just me.
Well, I have the script.
That's professional.
I'm with
That's
Tony on
professional.
this one.
Yeah. By the way, what's more professional than a weather alert? So the style of voice that I used with that was newscast.
Newscast. Okay.
Yeah. So it was like
At
an
L.
announcement.
F.
Why?
D.
Why? That's
Cigars.com.
slower because you just spell it out. I can't. And trying to spell Ligero, if I had them say Ligero, then somebody would have to try to figure out how to spell it. So there you go. There's the information. So I'll try some other voices, but I like the script and I like the concept behind it. So we'll see what happens.
You should use English woman with accent.
So I can do.
Should use a British man.
I can do 48 different
Yeah,
languages.
exactly.
You've reached Jonathan Carney,
And that's possible. That
Vice
is
President
doable.
of Sales, the Flor Dominicana.
See, guys.
Cigars.
See,
That would have been.
Leave your name, chap, and we'll be back to you in a spot. So I'll try some other voices, but I liked it. But anyway, that's publishing it to the world there. So
Hopefully Nicola's family didn't see that. Because they actually are from England, and they'll be like,
Barb,
oh.
I love Barbara saying yourself does give it a more personal touch. I agree. I wanted a less personal touch is what I was going for.
Ah.
Okay.
I wanted more.
professional.
I wanted not just more professional.
More
I
clinical.
wanted more informative. Because if you're calling me up and need information, I may be on an airplane. Today when I landed, bro, my phone was dying. I'm using it as GPS. I got 5 phone calls while I was trying to get the directions to get over to here. My phone's about to die. The charger wasn't working correctly. I'm on the phone with 2 other people at the same time. It's just crazy what's going on. So somebody may call, and then I may get caught up with something else. I just want I wanted the information there. So,
You know what I like about you, too?
what?
I'm going to let you finish your thought, but
But maybe I'll record that same setting only with me.
maybe.
But I'll need a nice microphone to do it because you know what I don't like? So what I could do is record it. I don't like just the way your voice sounds when you record it right on there. It doesn't. I don't like it.
I can do it here for you.
Yeah, we could do it.
I mean, how do you think Matt did the intros? I did it right here.
Giving info does not need to be cold and canned. I didn't think that was cold. This guy worked really hard on it.
You mean
Kevin's,
the
Kevin's
artificial
just throwing shade.
intelligence?
First thing he says, not even a hello, guys. It's just, yeah, that was bad. That sucks.
Hey, wait. You know what? I'm gonna change it to a British person. You try to say that to a British person.
Yeah.
And see what you get said back.
No, I think the British person would be really good.
If you don't like this message, you can go and screw off, wanker.
Oh, boy. That's funny. I'm sure Nicole will have to give you some feedback on the accent. But
It was very cigar though, no accent.
It's very
or
clear,
whatever.
though.
Oh, clear. I thought it said cigar. Yeah. That's what I wanted. I wanted it to be very clear. And by the way, that was the first recording I did, and I can get better with it because it's AI. It learns. So
Yeah.
I'll keep messing around with voices. That's why I played it. I honestly wanted some feedback. But the information was good. I think the informative side.
the info is right.
Yeah, I wanted info. I wanted the info. I didn't want to do it myself, so I'll keep messing around with it, and then I'll probably end up doing it myself.
Yeah. And I can professionally
Should
record it for you.
Should I do the? If you need immediate attention, you can email us at www.
See, that's like it's too
L.
long.
FD at LFD cigars.com.
I think so. It's very slow, but I mean, like I said, the information is right. No one complained about the information. It was just how it was delivered.
I don't think Stan's cold though. He is. That's why I wanted the feedback.
Stan sounds like a guy who
I-
never leaves his house.
I played it. I got the feedback.
It's
and now I don't like
raining
the. Now I don't like
again
the feedback. Right?
Today. My name is Stan. This is my life. It's very
Nobody
depressing.
takes Stan for a walk.
Stan sounds like I don't
can
know.
make him more energetic. I can do anything. Stan does whatever I want.
You gotta pump some
Well, I
juice
guess
into
I know-
Stan.
I guess
Stan's
what-
gonna wake up.
Well, I know what I'm.
Sounds like
doing
he just
tonight.
rolled out of bed.
Well, when I get back to the hotel, I'm gonna get infuse some life into Stan.
You need to sit Stan down and be like, look, you gotta step it up. I mean, because you're sounding a little dead out there. He sounds like Bill Belichick after a fucking home loss in
Yeah.
week 16.
Yeah. That's what it is.
Yeah, we went out there and
It's a step in the right direction.
the defense wasn't working right, and we have some things we got to work on.
I'll tell you something.
It was
though.
dry, just
I
like
had
that.
someone call me today, and they emailed me after.
So it worked.
There you go. It worked.
Were you proud?
That's-
Like,
I
oh,
was.
it worked.
I was, dude, and it happened today. I was like, oh, yes.
Like, someone called, got my voicemail, and knew to send me the email.
Mm-hmm.
That was only one, though.
Yeah, it was one. But hey, all it takes is one. Power of one.
I'm going to bring this up in the future. I'm going to say, so how's this going? Do people actually following the instructions? And if you're like, yeah, I got like 5, and then people just weren't really doing it, and I'd be like, well, all that
So
for
what made me think of it though was we just switched back over to AT&T from T-Mobile,
yeah.
and I wouldn't get my voicemails till like a week and a half later from T-Mobile. It was forever, dude. So I just didn't get voicemails. So we switched over, and then I started getting voicemails again. I was like, I really ought to up the game on this. And I got this AI software that I use, and I was like, I do some voiceover stuff with it, and it's pretty damn good. And
Check
but
this out.
That was the first. Yeah, I saw it. That was the first voice that I
Badass.
had, and I've used him for some stuff because you can adjust the pitch of the voice that you want. So I'm gonna adjust his pitch. I'm gonna change it from announcement to something a little more exciting, and maybe I'll put some music in the background.
Ooh.
Ooh. See, this is where it comes full
the
circle.
music would. Yes.
Elevator music.
Maybe the music will help
Like some
with the
Dominican
L.
stuff. I put a
F,
video. It's got
D.
the silences, the pauses, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's-
it's gonna be
F
D.
F LFTcigars.com. Yeah, it'd be epic.
I'm just gonna call you now just to get your voicemail.
My assistant and office manager Amy, she called me. She's like, "Hey, I heard your robotic voicemail," and I was like, "It wasn't robotic." She's like, "No, it was pretty good, but it sounded a little artificial." And I was like, "Why is everybody giving Stan a hard time?"
Because she's right, it does.
So I've got a guy that I'm
It's like
friends
Hawking.
with. I'm
You've
wearing a
reached
sh- I'm wearing a
Jonathan
shirt
Cardi.
right now, okay?
LFD.com.
Shout out to my friend Richard Howard. He's the Orlando guy, 407 original.
Yep.
He actually is a professional voiceover artist, so he'd offered to do it for me. So maybe I'll have him read the script.
Well, I mean, I'm only gonna do this just to prove a point, but I could have this done.
Live from the J.C. Newman Cigar Studio in Boston, Massachusetts, and the Gurkha Cigar Studio in beautiful British Columbia.
Does he have to say Gurkha?
Welcome to the
No, he
Smokin
could say
Tabacco Show
that-
with
you
your
could use that
hosts,
voice.
Matt Tobacco and Mitchell Center.
You've reached the phone of Jonathan M. Carney, Vice President of Sales. But it's a real person. It's not.
Yeah, I could have Richard.
Stan
his
the
name's-
man.
Oh, he's Mike or Matt?
It's Matt.
Matt. Yeah.
You met him.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good idea. Let me mess around with Stan a little bit more, then we'll play it, and I'll send it in a submission. This could be a good This could be a new monthly segment for me, other than the soap reviews.
Let me mess
we do
around
the
with
John
Stan.
Carney. We do John Carney's voicemail of the month,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I could make it like Christmas greetings and stuff, holiday greetings. And Santa Claus could do it at Christmas time.
Ho ho ho.
You need a spooky one for
Yes.
spooky one for October.
Oh, you have reached the voicemail of Jonathan Carney, Vice President of Sales for the Flor Dominicana.
You might be honest
If your
with me here.
soul brings you to call, leave a message. Yeah, that's a good idea.
L.
You can have them all like recorded, and then you just interchange them for the time of the
key
year.
to this is to never allow Lito and Inez to hear my voicemail message.
Oh, good luck with that.
Yeah. Like if I ever
Well,
get
you have
to-
caller ID.
I do, and they never very rarely go to voicemail anyway. But the
Yeah.
key is to not to have them hear it, right?
You know what's gonna happen is I feel like one
'Cause-
day.
Well, I think they're going to like it, but then they're going to give opinions on it, and then say, "Hey, it should be this," and then I think they're going to judge Stan too.
They will. And you know,
They
Lito, be like, Jonathan, I call your phone and I get this guy. Who is he? You know, and you're gonna be like, Lito, it's
So what
Stan.
I'm going to do is we're going to do a segment, okay? We're going to do a segment, a monthly segment,
Okay.
and I'll submit a couple voicemail things, voiceovers, and we can let the people vote.
Let's do it.
Yeah, it's easy. Now that I got the script, I can add stuff in easy.
I could just
quick.
pump the sound file in, and
Yeah, yeah.
I hear
Alright.
a new CFCF prize. You get to make Carney's voicemail message. Yeah, yeah. Oh
100%,
yeah,
100%. That's a great idea.
that is a great idea. Tony, look at Tony thinking out of the box.
That's the type of thinking that we need.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Tony, you should comment some more. I mean, you got some ideas. We like it.
Those are the ideas that take an hour and a half show and make it 2 hours long.
Yeah. Those are the comments that take Coop Show and turn it from 3 to 4 to 5 to 6. Although it's Coop, so I mean it might be 6 to 7.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Going
Come
to
to
the
think of
next
it-
day.
Does Coop have a voicemail?
I don't know. I never get to it. I usually text him, and then if we talk, very rarely do we speak on the phone. Do you talk to him on the phone?
All the time.
Yeah, see, we text.
Yeah. I
Very
could see
rarely
see
mobile.
him using Stan.
He always answers the phone for you, though, Matt.
I think
does.
he's a phone answering guy. Period. Though, I think if
It's
he's
very rare that I miss him.
Yeah, I think if he's not available, it gets like he's out of the country or something. I think he's relatively accessible almost all the time.
You ever notice how people always answer the phone a certain way? Like everyone has their signature thing.
What's yours?
Mine I kind of have that, but mine's unique to whoever's calling. Versus then you got people who kind of answer the same way. At least I think they do. Like when I call Coop and he answers his phone, it's, "What's going on, man?" Or when I call Kevin, it's just, "What are you doing?" You know? Yours is mostly just like a, "Yo."
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yo, what's up? Hey, I'm a big hey, yo. Hello.
I guess it depends on who you're talking to, but at least for me.
Official phone calls that I get.
Hello, this is Jonathan.
This is John. No, I said this is John. Yeah. Didn't we have small cigar? Didn't we have some small cigars we were gonna smoke?
We do. They're over there.
Oh, okay.
We'll smoke them.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna wrap up the show.
I
though.
think we got to, man. I think the show's been on. The show's been on its last leg for about 15 minutes.
Well, because of Stan, he sucked the life out of the room.
Answer would it be?
Well, that's gonna be the show this week. We're gonna leave it on Stan.
Is what it is, and what it is what it'll be.
That's right. Well, anyway, guys, thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for watching our show, and don't forget to like and subscribe everywhere you can get your podcasts, on all the podcast apps, on all of our social media, and as always, visit SmokinTabacco.com for more news, reviews, and updates from the cigar industry. And we will see you next week. Take care.